All right, what's up, guys? Anthony here, Special Analysis. Welcome to the video. I'm going to talk about how we navigated these markets this morning. On a daily basis, we look at light sweet crude, Nasdaq, S&P, gold, futures. So we'll go one at a time. We trade live from 8 to 11. Called this top here on crude pretty effectively, a little after 10 o'clock. Anticipating the sell-off, which we got into 73. That was fairly calculated. So we nailed that pretty good, right? You don't need to make a whole lot of calls every day to be fairly effective. So we called this top right here, saying that, hey, better than not chance if we don't overtake this very particular candle. Price falls back to where? Well, we had an assortment of levels, 20, and then followed by 73 rounds. So we accomplished them pretty good. Actually, I think we looked at like 25 right here at this kind of low as our first objective, which you can see we ultimately fell through. And then on to 73, found a little support here around 73.10, popped back up. Basically found resistance at that level that we were looking for support at. And then we fell into 73 before making another reversal. We had wrapped up our session by 11. But of course, my traders had access to all my tools. So that was the call on crude this morning, was that sell-off, fairly well calculated. Both the Nasdaq and the S&P, we just kind of called this little rally, basically into these prior highs. We got together again like 8 o'clock right here. And I was pretty confident we were going to pull back into these, more recent prior highs, particularly this one right here, which is ultimately where we kind of ran out of steam. Opening bell transpired. We sold off, and then we got really kind of choppy here on the day. So that's the Nasdaq. The S&P was a little cleaner. In fact, the S&P was kind of leading the show here. And I mentioned that to him. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty confident. I feel more confident in the S&P than I do the Nasdaq. And again, 8 o'clock right here in this vicinity. I said, hey, probably going to come into these prior highs right here. I felt this was a pretty significant level, 49.70, and that's basically what we did. Opening bell came and went, got some volatility, fell into a whole big chop fest here, and kind of fell kind of crappy through the balance of the day. But a nice little turnaround here off of what I would consider a fairly unconventional double bottom. But had anticipations of this market going higher off those levels into the opening bell, which worked out pretty good. And last but not least, gold. Gold, I didn't really care for what this particular candle looked like. So I was kind of concerned about trying to trade into it. And as you could see, every time we kind of approached 2046 and change, like we had a little pushback, more pushback. Even at the top of this candle, got some pushback. So, I heeded some warning around this one particular candle that printed at 806. So I wasn't very confident in trying to buy gold off of, after things kind of fell back into this area. But it is what it is. We navigated the Nasdaq, the S&P higher pretty nice and clean into the opening bell. And then again, this crude reversal right here on this very particular bar. I said to him, I go, listen, as long as this wick here continues to act as resistance, we probably sell off. And if you notice, later in the day, that wick still held as resistance and created this massive sell-off at 1224. So I very specifically pointed out this very particular candle here for a reason. It served a great purpose for us during the trading session, and then also served a great purpose for my traders later in the day. Had they just heeded my warning, they would have known not to try to buy the market here into this very particular level. So, guys, if you want to trade with me, I trade Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 90 minutes before the opening bell, 90 minutes after the opening bell. We look at these four markets very specifically. And if you feel like any of that information I just shared with you could have been helpful to your trading this morning, then maybe you want to join us, right? If you're not interested in any guidance, that's okay too. I hope you're being successful. I hope that you found an edge in the market, and I hope that you have, what it takes to be profitable and consistent. More often than not, I share with my traders that there's, you should be out of the market more than you're in it. And if you don't understand that quite yet, you have a hard lesson to learn. So appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you can, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.